Are you ready? Hey, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you having a good time? That's because you know, as you go through life, it's important to have a good time. But we also are serious about success. And this next couple is doing an absolutely phenomenal job. You may know her as Amy Alcazan. That's how I grew up knowing her. But now she's Amy Stafford, ambassador leader with her husband David, second-generation elite from Carlsbad, California. Ladies and gentlemen, help me give it up for David and Amy Stafford.
I stay smoking on good Jamaican. From different races, you get money, they started hating. I woke up in a new Bugatti. I woke up in a new Bugatti.
Wow. Hello, Vemma family. David and I are so excited to be up here and share a few thoughts with you all. So proud of you all who just came across the stage. That's such an awesome achievement. It looked pretty cool from behind, and I could see all the people. So congratulations to all of you. But before we get started, I want to share a little bit of background on how David and I got here. We met at Azusa Pacific University. I was getting my, go Cougars. I was getting my bachelor's in business, and David was getting his master's in business. And we graduated from school, and despite my parents' success in Vemma and Brad's success in Vemma, we got jobs. We started down that corporate path. And just out of curiosity, how many people right now are working a full-time job and building a Vemma business? Awesome. So not only do I applaud you for all your hard work, but I'm here to tell you I know exactly what you're going through. Not too long ago, David and I were in the trenches doing the exact same thing, working 60 hours a week, building our Vemma business on the side. And one of the many reasons why we have the success that we have today, the financial freedom and the time freedom we have today, is because we had a major goal, a huge purpose that we were working towards, something bigger than any obstacle that ever came our way. So David's going to touch on that here in a second, but something else I really wanted to touch on is something I hold true to our story, and Darren Hardy touched on it yesterday with the landmines to success, is quitting your story before it's ready. David and I, we didn't go full-time Vemma until we were presidentials. Number one, for financial reasons, but number two, 90% of the people that we shared the product and the opportunity with were in the same exact boat that we were in. They were working full-time jobs, so we could relate to them and we could share the passion of where we were going and share the hope. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to my wonderful husband, David. As I stand here and look at him, I wonder if he knows exactly what he got into marrying me. But I'll let him take it away.
Thank you, Amy. Well, I think it's easy to think that Amy and I were always destined, well, especially Amy, that she was destined to be here, with the family she grew up in. For myself, I really had no desire to really get started in the opportunity until about 2.5 years ago when I had already graduated, when I was already working my full-time job and knew I needed to bring in another option. But it's funny, when I first met Amy a little over 4 years ago, she had a Miss Verve license plate on the back of her car. And I'd never heard of her before. I had no idea what it was. When I glanced at it for the first time, I actually thought it said the word swerve. And so I figured she was just a bad driver and needed it as kind of a caution to other cars on the road. I didn't let her drive me anywhere for the first couple of weeks or maybe month that we were dating, but eventually, obviously, found out what Verve was, saw this opportunity, saw the potential with it through the success of Tom and Bethany and Brad. And when the timing was right for Amy and I, we made the decision and jumped in. In my minute and 45 seconds left, I'm going to run through what I believe is the most important thing in being successful in this opportunity, and it's having a big, resounding purpose. Your purpose, it has to resonate from within you. It has to be a true reflection of who you really are. It's got to be clear to you. You have to visualize what it is that you're working towards. And if your purpose is not bigger than the problems, difficulties, frustrations that you're going to face, on sometimes a daily basis, then you're never going to make it, because what you're working towards is not going to be worth it for you to keep going when you're faced with those, times of difficulty. And, for Amy and I, we faced a lot of those difficulties, but we always knew what our purpose was. If your purpose is big enough, you'll be able to get through. You'll have the power to really withstand anything that comes your way. It's like a boat in the ocean. The bigger the boat is, the less likely it is to capsize if it's hit with, waves in a storm. And so, wow, time's running out. Really quickly, just kind of an example for myself. I was working about, 50 hours a week, 10 hours a week on top of that, Monday through Friday, my full-time job. And I got a group going in Vemma 2 years ago out in Colorado. I made the decision to fly out there, do meetings Saturday, Sunday, and then fly back to work on Monday morning and go through that. I did that for 4 weekends out of, the course of 8 weekends. So every other weekend I was doing that. Didn't do it because I wanted to. I didn't do it because, it was easy. I did it because our purpose, Amy and I's purpose, was big enough. And at the time, it was to do, really running out of time. At the time, it was to take control over my life financially to the point where I could decide for myself the option that I had down the road and not leave it up to my job for them to decide it for me. And the very last thing is, guys, if you haven't decided what your purpose is, what your plan is, what you really desire, figure out what that is. Do some soul searching, figure out what that is. And when you've done that...
Oh. Did you hear anything? That was the sun. Hey, guys, let's give it up for David and Amy.
Have a great weekend.
Nice job. Hey, Tom, would you teach the new guy that I run it on time?